What's going on, guys? My name's Josh and I'm back today with another movie review. Now today is the day because Godzilla vs. Kong is now released on HBO Max and in theaters. Now before we get this video started, if you could please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and you better watch out because it's time to get this video started. Let's go. So today's review is going to be a spoiler movie review. I did already record a spoiler-free movie review, so if you haven't watched the movie, please check the spoiler-free movie review out. And if you have watched the movie, let's get into it. So Godzilla vs. Kong is a 2021 film that is directed by Adam Wingard, and the film stars Alexander Skarsgård as Dr. Nathan Lind. We got Millie Bobby Brown as Madison Russell, Rebecca Hall as Dr. Eileen Andrews, Brian Tyree Henry as Bernie Hayes, and Kaylee Hoddle as Gia. And the plot of this movie is fearsome monsters Godzilla and King Kong square off in an epic battle for the ages, while humanity looks to wipe out both of the creatures and take back the planet once and for all. So what did I think about this movie? I love this movie. This movie gave me everything I wanted in a Godzilla vs. Kong movie and more. This movie was awesome. If you're a big fan of Godzilla, if you're a big fan of Kong, if you're a big fan of monster fights, you're gonna love this because these monsters do not hold back. It is brutal and they really go at it, and it's a fun movie. This is definitely a movie that you want to see at the theater on the biggest screen possible because it is just amazing to watch. I will say, if you're not a big fan of Godzilla or you're not a fan of Kong, if you're not really familiar with those, I do still think you will have a lot of fun with this movie because this movie is a fun ride. Now, I will say the human storyline probably could be better, but honestly, if you're going to go see a movie called Godzilla vs. Kong, it's about the monsters fighting, and this movie delivers on that. So what did I like about this movie? First, I got to give it up to, I love that we finally got a clear winner, and that winner is Godzilla. I've always been Team Godzilla. I've been saying ever since I was a little kid, Godzilla will beat Kong, and we finally got an answer, and Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla won, which would make sense because Godzilla is way bigger. You know, he has an atomic breath. He's just a lot stronger than Kong, but you got to give it up to Kong too because Kong did put up a good fight, and it was so fun to watch. Now, I got to say, the monster fight between the two was really brutal at times, and I love that. First, let's talk about the fight in the water where Kong is on the aircraft carrier, and he's being transported. That was such a cool scene. One, it just showed how dangerous Godzilla is in the water, and Godzilla almost in that scene reminded me of a shark in the water, and Kong happened to be one of the humans on a boat. He was just so dangerous in the water. I loved how, you know, his spikes would stick out of the water and you'd see him swimming around kind of like Jaws, and yeah, he was just so vicious in the water, and I love that. And that whole scene was really, really good, and you just really felt how of a dangerous situation that Kong was in. Then I gotta say, I love the Hong Kong scene. That Hong Kong fight scene was awesome. One, I gotta say, it was beautiful to watch with all the neon city lights, and then just the two of them going at it was awesome. I loved, you know, we got to see Kong, you know, stab Godzilla with his axe in the leg. We got to see Godzilla bite Kong, scratch Kong. I loved that we got to see these two monsters fight in such different ways. This movie really showed, you know, how vicious Godzilla is. Like I said, we saw Godzilla scratch Kong. He was stepping on Kong. He was really, you know, trying to kill Kong, and this movie just did not hold back. But we also got to see Kong, how smart he is. I really have to say, it was really cool watching Kong because Kong, he's so agile. So to see him jump around all the buildings, swing on buildings, and he really uses a lot of strategy in his fights. I liked how one scene, he shoots something in the opposite direction, so Godzilla turns his head, and then he tackles Godzilla and slams his head into a building. It was crazy, but it was so fun to watch. And I gotta say, I loved the axe element as well. I thought the axe idea was really cool, and it gave, because Godzilla is so strong, it did give Kong, you know, something to work with. He definitely was at a disadvantage going into this fight, so having that axe made it more interesting. And I gotta say, I love the fight scenes between them, and I also gotta say, the CGI was really good as well. For them not being real, they looked real, and they really liked the details in Kong, and just some of those scenes were just awesome. I gotta say, I love the fight scene between Mechagodzilla and Godzilla and Kong. One, I gotta say, Mechagodzilla was, I love his design in this movie, and he definitely was really dangerous. Like, he was, you know, I'm a Godzilla fan, but he was beating Godzilla down, and you're definitely worried because he, you know, he was on his path to kill Godzilla. And I like how, you know, Godzilla and Kong how the team up happens. It happens because they have to team up because, you know, they see Mechagodzilla as a greater threat. He's a greater threat to all Titans, so they put their differences aside to team up. It made just a little bit more sense. You know, in Batman versus Superman, I feel like the way they stopped fighting and decided to team up was very cheesy when they said the Martha line, where I feel like in Godzilla versus Kong, the way they decided to team up was definitely, they did it better. They really put their differences aside because Mechagodzilla was the greater threat. And I gotta say, I love, you know, them teaming up and fighting Mechagodzilla too, because Mechagodzilla, he was dangerous. And yeah, he was definitely, you know, really hurting Godzilla there. And I love that Kong came in and, you know, pretty much saves Godzilla. And yeah, just seeing the fight scene between both of them take Mechagodzilla on. And then I thought it was really cool that in the end, you know, we get to see Kong save the day. And we got to see him use the axe. And yeah, it was just overall a really, really cool fight scene. Also, I do like the ending where Godzilla and Kong both respect each other and decide not to fight. They kind of give up the fight. There's no beef between them anymore. They might not necessarily be friends, but they're not enemies anymore. And I like that too, because ultimately, I think Godzilla saw, you know, when push comes to shove, if the world does have, you know, threats, Kong is not a threat to the world. You know, he's going to help protect the world, which is the same mission Godzilla has as he protects the world. So I do like that, yeah, they both have respect to each other now. And I also, what else did I like about this movie? I gotta say, I did like the relationship between Gia and Kong as well. I thought they had a really cool relationship, and I thought it was a really clever idea that, you know, that they're able to communicate through sign language, because you really get to see Kong's personality, what he's thinking, and I really love the relationship between, you know, Gia and Kong, especially at the end where Gia tells Kong to please be careful. It was just such a good scene, and I love the relationship between the two. Also, I gotta say, I feel like this movie, you know, listened to the fans. We got a lot of daylight fight scenes. We got longer fight scenes. These were two big complaints from fans from the previous movie, and they listened, and they delivered. Because, yeah, the daylight scenes were awesome. The fight scenes were very, very well lit, and definitely really long. So, I love that they listened to the fans. Also, I did like that we got to explore the Hollow Earth more, and the Hollow Earth is awesome. That place looks really cool, and, yeah, I would love to kind of explore it more in future movies because, yeah, there's just so much there. It would be kind of interesting if they somehow incorporate Monster Island into the Hollow Earth somehow, like maybe in the Hollow Earth, somewhere in the Hollow Earth could be Monster Island. I would love that. Also, I do gotta say, I loved, you know, Warbat in this movie, or Nezuki. I thought his design was really cool, and he was just such a cool and unique looking Titan that he was awesome. I just wish we would have got a little bit more of him because he was really cool, and I love that we got to see a Skullcrawler as well. Might have only been for a second, but I love that, you know, we got another cameo from a Skullcrawler. So overall, I gotta say, I love this movie. It was just a great movie. As me being a Godzilla fan, it gave me everything I wanted and more. And honestly, this movie, because we've had now, 4 movies in the MonsterVerse, this movie really set this showdown between Godzilla and Kong up. And I think it delivered on what they were setting up. Now, what didn't I like about this movie? I will say, you know, one of the big complaints in these movies is going to be, you know, the human storyline. And I will say that human storyline is a little, not the best in certain aspects. I think main thing, for me, one thing I feel like that suffered a lot is there's just too many human characters. This movie, I feel like, had a ton of characters, and some of the characters we get to spend a lot of time with, while other characters, because there's so many characters, we just don't get to see them a lot, so there's not enough, we don't get enough character development with those characters, and I just feel like it would have been overall better if the cast would have been smaller. Particularly, for example, Kyle Chandler's in this movie, and he was in Godzilla King of the Monsters, and he played such a big role in that movie, and in this movie, he's only in it a few times, and he has a couple lines, but his part really wasn't necessary. Because he played such a big role in the other movies, I would have rather have him play a bigger role in this movie again. Same thing with, another character, Ren Serizawa. I was really excited when I heard that, you know, Dr. Serizawa's son is going to be in this movie, mainly because Dr. Serizawa, his character in the movie, you know, he died to bring back Godzilla, and, you know, his whole life was about protecting Titans, so it would be interesting to see how does his son feel that his father sacrifice himself to save Godzilla. Does he hate Titans now? Does he like Titans? I just wish we would have got to know that character a little bit better. And it just seemed that there were so many characters, we barely get any time with him. It just felt like a wasted opportunity. I feel like if you're going to introduce, you know, Dr. Serizawa's son in a movie, that you need to give him, he needs time to shine. He needs, you know, and it just wasn't enough time. I feel like his character that he played could have been really any character. It didn't necessarily have to be Dr. Serizawa's son. It just felt like a wasted opportunity. I just wish we would have got to explore him a little bit more. But ultimately, I think if there was just less humans, I think that would have helped this as well. And for the non-Godzilla fans, I will say, you know, some of the human storylines are probably not going to make the most sense to you. Me being a fan of, you know, all these MonsterVerse movies, I understood what was going on, but to the casual audience, you might not necessarily get it. But like I said, the movie itself is about two monsters fighting, so that is going to be what you will enjoy, and you just take it for what it is. No. Overall, though, I enjoyed this movie. And the next couple things I want to talk about are not really cons, because like I said, I love the movie itself, but just stuff that, you know, I wish could have been in the movie. One, I gotta say, I really wish we got more, you know, even if they weren't in along, just some cameos, I wish we would have got Mothra. I wish we would have got Rodan, Behemoth. They were all introduced in King of the Monsters, and I just wish they would have mentioned them, or they would have at least made a cameo. Especially Behemoth. I feel like Behemoth was really awesome, and fans really liked Behemoth. So the fact that, you know, he could have been in this movie, even in a cameo, and he wasn't, that was just, I felt like a missed opportunity. Also, I will say, this movie is, it seems like it's very Team Kong. It's all from pretty much Kong's perspective. So in a way, this almost at times feels more like a Kong movie that Godzilla happens to be in, rather than a Godzilla movie. Mainly because, you know, all the previous Godzilla movies, Godzilla was the hero. So the audience, you're going on this ride with Godzilla, where in this movie, it was just a little different because it was more from Kong's perspective, and the movie was so Team Kong. It just kind of feels... it just feels more like a Kong movie in that sense. But overall, like I said, I still enjoyed it. It was just a little different, I will say. For me being Team Godzilla, it was still a little different. And one other thing that I wish the movie would have did was just explain why Mechagodzilla went kind of crazy at the end, or lost control. And that could have been just very well easily explained. They could have, Millie Bob Brown's character could have said, you're using Ghidorah's DNA to try to control this machine. Ghidorah's DNA is too unpredictable. Ghidorah's DNA will naturally want to destroy the world. So by you, you know, trying to use his DNA, Mechagodzilla is going to try to destroy the world. Something like that, I think, would have made more sense on why Mechagodzilla just kind of went nuts. And then another question I had was that Mechagodzilla, and like, or not Mechagodzilla, was that Ghidorah? Like, did Ghidorah's spirit or his conscious somehow take over Mechagodzilla and try to destroy Godzilla? Maybe not, but definitely I feel like something with his DNA is why that machine lost control. I just wish the movie would have explained that more. But overall, I gotta say, I love this movie. I definitely plan on seeing it as many times as possible. I've seen it now twice at home. I definitely want to see this on, you know, IMAX, in the theaters, on the biggest screen possible. This is definitely a movie you will enjoy at the movie theater, if it's safe, or even if it's even open in your area. But if not, watch it on HBO Max. Either way, I think you will enjoy it. Now, and as far as if you're a Godzilla fan at all, I definitely recommend watching this movie. And if you're not a Godzilla fan, I do still think you will enjoy it if you enjoy monster fighting movies. If that's something that you can get, it's still a lot of fun. That's kind of my thoughts on that. But are you going to watch Godzilla? Have you seen Godzilla already? If you have, were you Team Kong? Were you Team Godzilla? How did you feel about the winner? How did you like the movie? I definitely want to hear from you guys, so please leave your comments below, and thank you so much for watching.